Good morning, good morning, good morning. No, need lighter fluid. All right. So I wanted to just touch base on, I don't know. I've been bringing up Rich a little bit lately, and people, like, of course, ping on it. You know, the ones, especially since for a while there, I collected up some of his stalkers and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Rich and everything else like that. There's nothing really personally wrong with the dude. Down here. What do we got? No. Aha! But one thing I did notice about him is he does not seem, or I'm going to say he does not seem. He never seemed to make genuine connections to me, and there was some weird shit that I noticed through the course of watching him over the last, 4 years, right? He doesn't genuinely connect with anybody. Doesn't genuinely connect with anybody, right? I mean, he talks about how he bounced across country and stuff like that, but he doesn't tell you all the single moms he shacked up with and then left in the fucking dust during his escapades, right? You know? Until he got his money, and then once he got his money, he picked himself up a 23-year-old Instagram model. Just saying. I mean, he lucked out with Leia. He turned, could have been way worse. Could have been way worse. That was a risky play on his part. But that is what it is. Let's not sit here and act like he's a freaking infallible saint, right? And now I bring this up because the reason is I do make extremely strong soul connections with people. I make extremely strong soul connections with people. There we go. I am a genuine empath. Rich is not an empath. He is not empathic. Just isn't. And the level of empath I'm talking about here is my best friend from when I was 19. And this has been coming up. Is dying. Is dying. A lot of you followed me for a long time. Especially if you look at the Celeste of the Silver Cord YouTube channel, right? You go all the way back to the beginning videos. I was still with my second husband then, right? Yeah. And I made him leave because he was 350 pounds and he was dying. And I had this heart center opening, which a lot of people talk about, right? And it's hard to explain how it feels. The best I can describe it is Indiana Jones in that scene where the dude sticks his hand into somebody's chest and he like grabs their heart. That's what it felt like. Like, I was doing good. I had started the channel. Things were taking off. Things were looking good. The silver cord was going good. We were doing moon rituals all the time. I was doing really well with my mom. My aunt at the time was helping me with everything. and we were having a good time, and I loved my life, right? Truly and genuinely loved my life. And yeah, I was outside, and I was doing my yoga, and I mean, it dropped me to my knees, and I was like, oh, and it was a weird feeling because, like, I don't know, like, I genuinely thought that my second husband was having a heart attack. I thought that I could feel him having a heart attack. And the reason that I thought this was because we had been friends since I was 19. He lived with us on and off throughout my whole first marriage with my first husband, right? He was my best friend since I was 19. And when he was about 30-ish, I was like 25, 26, he almost died. He was running an excavator, and a pine tree fell on him and nearly crushed him to death. The little guy he was working with that was running the chainsaw saved him. He managed to run up the tree and cut the top of the tree off to get as much weight as he can of it off. And then he cut the tree so it would fall off the cab, and then Jaws of Life had to come in. The helicopter had to come in, and, you know, they had to cut him out of the machine and fly him off to a special hospital, right? And I hadn't talked to him at weeks, you know what I'm saying? Because life, stuff like that. He wasn't living with us at that time. And he had a girlfriend that was this weird fucking drug addict that nobody liked. So he pretty much had isolated himself with her for a while. And I knew. Because when he woke up in the hospital, I had messaged him, "Are you okay?" Right? Because I had felt something. So that's why I thought, you know, truly believed I had the ability to feel that. And then he came home that day and he ended up being fine. And then a few days later again, it hit me in the kitchen. Bam! Dropped me to my knees again. I was like, damn it, what is this, right? And then I got into reading the Kundalini and stuff like that, and the heart center openings. But then I had what I considered my Kundalini. And that's when it travels up your spine, right? And I went to get up out of bed to go to the bathroom, and I started having severe back spasms, right? Severe back spasms. And I couldn't stand up. Anytime I tried to move, it was like being electrocuted. Like, I would shake and fucking stiffen out real bad, and I couldn't fucking move. And we called an ambulance to come get me. And when the ambulance got here, they couldn't get a gurney into our bedroom because of the way the house was laid out. So it was this whole fucking thing to try to get me out of the room. And every time they moved me, I would fucking go into a seizure. And when I got back from the hospital, he had to go to the doctor for some stuff, and they told him that, you know, you need to lose some weight. We're going to kick you off your health insurance. You're not going to be able to come to this doctor anymore. Your kidneys are really bad. You really need to clean up your diet. You need to stop drinking. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this. You need to quit smoking. You know, all kinds of stuff, right? And he would always get it together for about 2-3 weeks, and then he'd twist an ankle, or he'd some reason to stop doing it, right? And I saw it when it happened, right? And I can just remember, because he was sitting there and he was struggling to put on his fucking shoes, right? He was struggling to tie his shoelaces. And I don't know, I went to say something about, you know, we really need to get, you know, you in check, because I couldn't understand why he wasn't losing weight. I mean, I made everything. All his meals were homemade, calorie counted, down to the wire, right? I made his breakfast, I organized his lunch, and I was a dinner on the table when he got home from work kind of mom. And I couldn't understand how he wasn't losing any weight, you know, and how he was still not, his cholesterol wasn't going down, his kidneys weren't testing better. I couldn't understand it, right? And I went to say something, and he was just like, I'm just a fat piece of shit. And I just saw this fucking shaky energy go out around him, right? And I was like, fuck. I'm gonna wake up with this dude dead next to me in the bed. I'm gonna wake up with this 350-pound body that they're not gonna be able to get out of my bedroom. Some fucking what's eating Gilbert Grape bullshit, right? And I'm having a hard time right now because at that moment I decided that I needed to send him away to get help. You know, I was like, I wanted to send him away. I was like, dude, you need to go. You know, go to the mountains, go to North Carolina. You can breathe better up there. You can exercise better up there. You know, get healthy, come back. He didn't get healthy. He's 450 pounds now. And his kidneys are failing. And his liver is failing. And I'm having a hard time coping with that. Because that was my go-to person. That was my best friend. I don't have a lot of friends. When I make soul connections, I make soul connections. I still have my best friend from the 2nd grade, and and I got Luna, who's my best friend since 13. Like, I don't really make a lot of friends, right? Not for anything in particular, just how it is, right? And I've got a couple of friends from high school, right, that I'm still good friends with, and that's it. Like, there's only a handful of people who have genuinely been my friend, and once you're my friend, you're like my friend forever. Like, that's it. What? You just fucking stuck with me. That's just how it works. But it comes down to this whole, people are always just like, with the rich and shit like that, and they're like, oh, just manifest your life, just manifest it, don't let anything bother you, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and that's fine, but this is something I've always said about him. The reason it was so easy for Rich to manifest all that stuff is because Rich makes no emotional connections to any fucking body. He never did. He never did. If you watched him over 4 years, what? He straight up bailed on that chick in Maine, right? After she fucking took care of him, all his failing fucking businesses and everything else, right? He wasn't paying, I doubt it. Working a car wash for tips, living under bridges. You think he was paying child support for those kids that entire time? He didn't even talk about them the first fucking 2 years he was doing this stuff. I'm just saying, alright? I'm not dogging him or nothing, and he's allowed to be a new person now, but I'm just saying. The reason he was able to manifest all that is he literally had nothing else. It was just him. It's way harder when you have genuine connections. You're genuinely an empath. You genuinely have a soul tribe. You genuinely have a web of people that you see. You genuinely see timelines. You genuinely actually are engaged in the energies. It's different. It's just different. Right? Alright, let's get started with this cards, okay? I got, oh no, you pooped your shoe. He'll only leave you better off. It's no wonder the truth is stranger than fiction. Fiction has to make sense. Words are spells. No one saves us but ourselves. We ourselves must walk the path. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really, really hard. Get a story time to start out. Let's get a collective energy that's going on with all that. But people ask me, and I ain't gonna lie, I held it together. I held it together after sending him away. And And I held it together when my aunt screwed me over, and she caused a whole bunch of drama with some witches in Australia because she was having some sort of sordid online romance. And then she came and stayed with us, and then a whole bunch of stuff happened with her, and then her son had to come stay with us, and I held it together. I held it together through that summer, and they weren't helping me anymore, and then then it all became weird between my mom and my aunt because of all that shit, and then it all became weird with the family because they were all mad at me for making my husband leave because they were pissed off because they're like, oh, that was stupid. You should have kept him around even if he was going to fucking die for, for an extra paycheck in the house. And then my aunt stayed with me, and she didn't fucking help pay for shit. She just fucking freeloaded with me for a few months, and then when I asked her for help, she moved back in with her husband. And then her son stayed with me, and they didn't help us with shit with that either. Nobody helped us with any type of child support or anything else like that. It was just a big, oh, well, you got extra food stamps, so you should be happy with that. And then, and I held it together. I did videos every day. I still held the cord together. I was still getting steady readings. I was walking 5 miles a day, doing yoga twice a day for 20 minutes at a time. I did a lot of yoga challenges, the Yoga with Adriene challenges. I had lost a bunch of weight. I fucking 165. I'm skinniest I'd been since I had my daughter. Nothing hurt. My back didn't bother me anymore. I was in a great energy. And the only thing that I was struggling with at that time was quitting smoking cigarettes. And I took Chantix. And apparently Chantix has a black label on it that it can cause schizophrenic episodes. And yeah, got really scary there for a while. I did well for it. Took the starter pack. It took about a month or so for it to really kick in, and then I didn't sleep for, as far as I know, it was between 7 and 10 days. But it was about day 5 that I really started losing my shit. And that I never really recovered from. That I never really recovered from. That I never really made it back from. And I've been trying, man. It's not that I ain't been trying. I mean, there's some other things that have gone on since then. It's been used against me. I have 3 notebooks that I wrote the last 2 days I was in the psych. I had to go to the psych ward for 2 weeks. I ended up being in the drug and alcohol rehab unit. That's where you go to if you ever have to detox any type of weird chemical out of your body, whether you're an addict or not, if you go through that, right? So I had to do 2 weeks in the psych ward. And the last few days I was there, I sat there and I filled 3 notebooks with everything that I could remember from my time awake and my time in the hospital. And when I tell you that certain people in my life, and I think that's probably more, I probably, I don't want to make excuses for why I couldn't get my shit together, but it certainly didn't help when you got people around you that manipulate you, right? That fuck with your head, right? Because at that point, I was still awake to certain things. Like, once you're awake to noticing, like, narcissistic behavior and things like that, when you start noticing that people lie and they're twisting the fucking truth, and you're like, and you start having to do things like you feel like people are fucking with you, right? You feel like people are fucking with you. And it started out first with my first husband. I don't know why he lost his shit on me so bad. But when I got out the hospital, and I saved it, just absolutely disgustingly horrible to me. If I asked for help or anything, like, I don't know. Like, harassing text messages, cussing me out constantly. He never paid child support. That's just not fucking something he ever did. The whole reason I divorced him to begin with is he couldn't hold a job for more than 3 months. And, yeah. And I still managed to hold it together for a while. And then I met Rob. And I was doing alright with Rob, and then COVID hit. And and I let him come stay with me when COVID hit. I thought it was a great idea at the time. But when I did that, my mother got extremely jealous, and she didn't like Rob. No particular reason that she didn't like him. There was no real particular reason that she didn't like him. He was kind of like my first husband in the fact that, like, I don't know. I don't think I've never seen the man work a full 5-day week. The 3 years I've known him, right? Always something. There's always some reason every week for him to miss so many days. I don't think I've ever seen him work. If he did, it would only be 1 week, and then something would happen. He would have to take the next week off, right? That irritated my mother, but even if that irritated her, it was no excuse for just the sabotaging behavior that I ended up having to deal with. And it was things that she sabotaged things in the court. She sabotaged things on my videos. She knew I would be doing videos, and she would come in. And just weird stuff. Just weird stuff. Like, distinctly one time I remember we were making these little sewing buddy dolls, right? And it was a pattern that I had made, and I didn't have the pocket part. Like, it was a homemade pattern. And I was like, you just got to put a pocket in the head, right? Not fucking hard. My mom was a seamstress. My mom worked professionally as a sewer. My mom used to make the most intricate Easter dresses and Halloween costumes pretty much known to man. And she sees me doing a video, right, in the morning. And she comes in, she brings me this doll, right? And she wants me to look at it. She knows I'm on video, live. And she brings me the doll, and she hands it to me. And I'm looking at it, and the fucking pocket isn't even sewed all the way around. Like, it opens up to the cotton on the inside. Now, I'm playing it off in the video. I'm like, oh, it's really cute. Da, 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 da. I don't want to give her any criticism on camera. But it was almost like she was fucking with me. Like, you know how to sew a fucking pocket. It was almost like she was hunting to piss me off on camera, right? And she does that. Like, I had a friend over that was supposed to be helping me fix some things around the house. And as we're walking around and talking and stuff like that, she brought up something about the internet, right? And she's just like, oh, yeah, back in the day, wasn't it funny? You had to do emergency breakthroughs to knock people off the internet. And I'm like, she knows damn well that that's a trigger point for me, because the reason that I had to use emergency breakthroughs to knock her off the internet was because she fucking forgot me somewhere. It's because I was alone at 11 o'clock outside of a closed roller rink or movie theater or arcade or wherever the hell I had gone that day, or the mall, and she forgot me again. And I would have to call and knock her off the internet I would have to do emergency breakthrough, knock her off the internet, quick put a quarter in, try to make an actual phone call, and hope to God that I would be able to get a phone call through before she signed back on. Sometimes I would have to knock her off 3-4 times before she would realize what time it was and that she had left her 11 to 13-year-old daughter out in the fucking world somewhere alone in a parking lot. Right? But she brought it up on purpose because she wanted me to act out of character, right? That's what people do when they're fucking with your head all the time, right? It just is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. And it's something that I've been working really hard to overcome. And that's what it is when you make genuine connections with people, when you genuinely have people in your life, when you genuinely just can't be fucking fart in the fucking wind and to yourself, you know what I'm saying, to recreate yourself. It's great that some people have that. Like, if you find yourself genuinely in the position where fuck all has happened and you're all alone and it's just you to yourself, that is a beautiful, beautiful place for you to be. You are a lucky, lucky person to be in that position, because that's it. If you eat, your whole family's fed. You have no idea what level of freedom that is. Just saying. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Sorry, that was my rant for the day. I've been having just a lot going on. All right. We got the Rider here. Let's sit through this real quick. Rider, number 1, right? Success, victory, good news, dreams realized. The enchanted horse. A magical horse brings a prince and a princess together, but then the crafty sultan uses that same horse to kidnap the princess. The prince she loves must be wily in how he defeats this powerful sultan. He succeeds in his goal and uses the same magic horse to escape with his love back to his own kingdom. The Rider is a card of success. This can be news of a victory or a realization of a dream. Our princess had her dreams answered when her love rescued her. Her prince achieved his victory. When the Rider shows up in your reading, know that you will see victory wherever the Rider is heading. What is behind the Rider can show you the path to your triumph. All amazing things you want out of life can be coming your way when the Rider approaches. Who is riding towards you is a good question to ponder with this enchanting card. Note, this card can also be used as a male lover. Alrighty. Alright, so what we got here? We definitely have a Queen of Cups, a King of Pentacles, a Queen of Wands down here. All right, so we got this. We got a 7 of Wands, a little bit of defensive, protective energy going on. We've got this King of Pentacles behind a mask, right? Right? This is the kind of King of Pentacles that, what do I say about the King of Pentacles, right? They're controlling. They like to have things in certain control. They're definitely with this mask, right? Hiding things behind there, right? Not trying to show too much, not trying to give too much of their own power away. We've got this Queen of Cups. I like how she's coming off with this vampiric energy, almost, right? Very different from the genuine giving energy of the Queen of Cups. This one almost comes off as like a little vampiric, right? All right, and we have this Queen of Wands, right? And this is, she's full in her alchemy mode, right? Passion, conjuring. Right? It's all on the 3D. There is, though, a lot of paranoia. So you get this energy here. And I just get this like alluring energy here with this one. I get this is the same person, right? This person has a lot of love and a lot of passion and a lot of creative energy, right? A lot of knowledge of alchemy and things like that. You've got this one here with the mask hiding behind. I feel like this one watches this one. There's a lot of defensiveness going on, and there's a lot of paranoia. There's a lot of paranoia there with that 5 of Pentacles there at the end. Paranoia of things not going right, things being left out in the cold, right? Things not coming into fruition. We've got a Knight of Wands here on the 40. So there's definitely a lot of passion behind that masculine energy. A lot of passion, a lot of power, a lot of strength, but not a lot of movement Eight of Wands reversed. There's not a lot of movement. There's still a lot of toxic connections, cords, self-imprisonment, judgments, right? I always get that kind of feeling here, right? They get that devil, the devil card, and it's almost like the ego has this person trapped with these cords, right? This toxic persona or energy, right? Could even be that mask, right? There's definitely a Six of Swords. Movement needs to be made. This is a rite of passage. You need to move into a new energy if you want new things to come in, right? You're never going to unbind yourself from this energy if you don't cut the cords that are binding you, right? And allow yourself to be pulled, right? Pulled and guided by those crows, right? I always say crows are messengers for me, right? They're Odin and Freya, right? Allowing yourself to be pulled and guided by these crows and listening to your messages. And definitely we got the Eight of Cups here, right? Moving on and moving away from energies that keep you stuck and bound. On the 5D, on the 5D, there's just a lot of immaturity. What? Nothing's going to happen because of anxiety, pretty much, right? You get the Nine of Swords here at the end. It's going to keep you up. It's going to keep you bound. It's going to keep you stuck, right? So what is we got here? We got the Page of Swords reversed, right? Not wanting to speak, and when you do, it's immature, or it's just completely blocked communication, right? Blocked communication. This door is going to remain closed as long as this communication is like this. This is toxic defensiveness, right? Whereas this upright, right? This is defensiveness, but this is defending your moral fortitude, right? This is defending your honor. This is defending your healthy boundaries. Reversed like this is hiding behind things. This is hiding behind a mask. This is hiding behind people. This is hiding behind situations. This is hiding behind excuses. This is purposely putting up a wall and claiming it's defense, right? But it's not really defense. It's because you're fucking scared, right? Because you're sitting there behind the door, but you're terrified to open it. You know, you're terrified to open your mouth because it'll open a door, and then you're going to have to drop those defenses, right? There's a lot of immature energy here with this one, right? There's a lot of immature energy. You know, the Page of Wands is enthusiastic, and they like to discover new things, and they're passionate about certain things, but it's almost an immature type of energy, right? It's an immature type of energy. I just got a lot of immature energy here, right? And it's just all of this defensiveness, and I don't know, here we go. Oh, Seven of Wands. I'm saying Nine of Wands. Still the same thing. Well, similar. The Nine of Wands is kind of like almost a fence. It's almost done being built. The Seven of Wands, you're actually swinging, right? You're actually swinging and batting things away. And in reverse, you're swinging and batting things, anything and everything. Could be good, could be bad, you don't know, just, type of energy. And that's causing a lot of anxiety. A lot of you're causing your own anxiety energy popping up there. All right, we got Parasites. We got a lot of parasitic energies here. These parasites are probably the reason that people become so defensive, right? This person is parasitic. They don't want you to leave them. They don't want you to go anywhere. They don't want you to change in any way. These are the people that don't want you to make any improvements to yourself, right? These are the people that I'm talking about that, like, if you succeed, it makes them look bad. Well, because if you do it, then it proves they could have done it too. And especially if it's someone who tried to do it with you, and then you had to cut them off or cut them out or remove them from your life in some way, shape, or form, right? Case in point, my first husband was 350 pounds, and I sent him away to get healthy, right? I sent him away to just him. All he had to worry about, I was learning and watching from another person who did it, right? And then bring up Rich again. What? Rich was a big old fat dude there for a little bit. And then he got his shit together, and he got healthy, and he's feeling a lot better now, isn't he? Well, it just proves that my second husband was fully capable of doing the same thing. He hates him. Hates him to death. Why? Because him doing it, this is what it is, right? Just is what it is. Me getting healthy pissed him off. Is what it is. Parasitic energy, right? These people don't want you to succeed in anything because you succeeding makes them look bad. And then all of a sudden they feel like you're judging them. It's like, I'm not judging you. You could do it too if you want to. I don't judge you if you don't do it, but, you know, I'm going to protect my energy. These people don't want you to do that. They want you to stay stuck, and they're going to do things out of their way to drain your energy, manipulate you, knock you out of character. A lot of the big conversation that's been going on is the reactive abuse, right? They do things to trigger you, and then they go, oh, you're a crazy person. You could never leave me. No one will ever understand you the way that I understand you because you're crazy. You're a crazy, crazy person. There's something fucking wrong with you, and you need to stay with me because no one else is ever going to understand you the way I do. Meanwhile, that's not even you. That's what they purposely manipulate and draw out of you. That's not your character. That's their character that you're reflecting in toxic defense. In toxic defense. This is exactly what this is talking about. Toxic defensiveness, right? Right? I'm knocking everybody away. Why? Because these people tell me I'm too fucking toxic and crazy for anybody. No one's ever going to understand me. Oh my God, if this person, oh man, if they tell anybody else about how crazy I've been. And meanwhile, that wasn't you. That was them. That was them. Some people know what I'm talking about with that one, right? New Moon Promise. I love New Moon Promise because New Moon Promises is all about fuck the parasites, right? What did you promise yourself? What kind of life did you promise yourself? What were the promises that you made for yourself that you have been breaking to please other people? All right. We got memory and we got sly. Right? And I thought, yeah, everybody's always like, forgive and forget. And I'm like, no, you can't forget because that's how you get stuck in these toxic patterns, right? That's how you get stuck in falling for that. I'm going to change. I'm going to change. I'm going to be a better person. Look how wonderful I am now. Look how great I am now. Look at all I do for you now. Look at all these wonderful things. Look how nice I am. Remember how nice I was at the beginning? Now look how nice I am. I could be like that again. See how nice I am? And then 6 weeks later, you're finding yourself fucking screaming at the top of your lungs and throwing shit in your house. Why? Because they went back to the same exact pattern and triggered you back into the same exact pattern, right? Forgive, release, but don't forget. And be sly. Be mindful how much you're engaging with these people and how much information you're giving these people, right? Look up the symbolism of ferrets and weasels, okay? They're not always tricksters and things like that, right? Though sometimes you do need a trickster. Like, you know, somebody was making a candle to Loki and people were talking mad smack about why would you do it to a chaos god. Sometimes you need a little chaos to shake some shit up, right? Sometimes your spirit guides do lie to you and trick you because if they would have shown you the truth, you would have never done anything anyway, right? Just is what it is, right? But it's time for you to be sly, be smart, be creative, and figure some things out, right? And keep some things to yourself, right? Forgive, don't forget, always remember the lessons that you've learned. Alright, y'all, I gotta go take kids to school. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and winding paths with me. I love y'all so much. I'm going to be back just as soon as I can. I promise.